Morning all, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe. It is Sunday the 9th of August 2020. Sorry I haven't been around for like a week, but I've had a lot of work to do and I just haven't had a chance to get any news out, so apologies for that. But here we are, and let's get right to it. US cases then in the 40s and 50,000s for this week since Monday, 54,199 yesterday. Peak was around July the 24th, but it is trending down now, thankfully. US deaths then over 1,200 Tuesday through Friday. Yesterday we had 8,502, so that was up a little bit, but it's still trending down again. Florida cases then have been skewed by Isaias, and some testing centres were closed down, so we're not getting the testing numbers and number of cases that we kind of normally do. We had a run of cases under 8,000. Yesterday was 8,502, so I'm expecting more normality this week. It'll be much better as an indication of what's going on than it was last week. Deaths are just deaths, so they're going to be what they are. That's down from a peak of from July 21st was 182 yesterday, so starting to trend down. And ICU beds this morning were 1,157 adult beds, 243 paediatric beds for a total of 1,400. That's about 70 more than it was on Monday, so good news there, and that's increased again from what it was last Saturday. The Florida R rate is 0.99 today. It actually dipped to a 0.96 earlier in the week. It's back to 0.99, still better than it was on Monday when it was 1. In terms of where Florida now ranks, we are ranking number 20, which is down 3 from Monday. But the good news is there are now 22 states with an R rate under 1, so 28 to go. Ron DeSantis has rescinded the self-quarantining requirement for people from New York, New Jersey and Connecticut, and that's about time. Going the other way though, there still is self-quarantining required. The US State Department has lifted its blanket travel advisory, advising Americans not to travel outside of the US. It used to employ a ranking system of 1 to 4, with 1 being not risky, 4 being very risky, so it's now gone back to that system. The UK currently is in the bracket of 3, so still quite risky, and even though the US now has said people can travel, or advised people can travel, people still have to abide by the destination country's quarantine rules. So if that country requires people to self-quarantine, they still have to do that. It's not just like open season on travel. There's been no talk about the US borders reopening as a result of this, but this may be a precursor to that. But I would imagine that testing will have to be done, some kind of testing will have to be done on people in order to travel to the US when that comes into existence. Virgin Atlantic has filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy. That's not meaning in any way that it is insolvent. Chapter 15 is a special bankruptcy provision where assets are held in more than one country. So it's just preserving the assets in America, where Delta owns 49% and Richard Branson and Virgin own 51% in the UK. So that's all it is. It's a restructuring, and Branson at the moment is trying to get, I think, 1.5 or 1.2 billion pounds, 1.5 billion dollars in order to restructure Virgin Atlantic. So Virgin Atlantic are not going bust. Disney's results for the third quarter came out on Tuesday. It's lost $5 billion due to the pandemic, but it's not closing its doors either. I'm going to get to park opening hours a little bit later, and there's been a big hoo-ha about what does that all mean, but I'll get to that in a minute. It's still saying that the parks are adding to the bottom line, and it will continue to open parks where they add a net positive contribution to the bottom line, i.e. where they make a profit. So they're not closing any parks down, don't worry about that. Bob Chapek, the CEO from Disney, said that 50% of Disney World's current guest population is from within the state of Florida, and therefore 50% are outside of Florida. People are cancelling their vacations, and that's why, or part of the reason why, more tickets are now being given over to annual pass holders than they are now to single ticket holders or resort guests. Disney World have published their latest park opening hours, which are applicable from September the 8th, and they've cut their opening hours by 1 or 2 hours depending on the park. The opening times are the same, the closing times have reduced a bit. All that means really is we're not going to see fireworks anytime soon. Epcot and Hollywood Studios are going to close from 7 o'clock in the night. From September the 8th, Magic Kingdom from 5 o'clock in the night. So we're not going to get to a darkness. Darkness will occur around 6:40 p.m. at around the end of October. So we're not going to see any fireworks, if they're looking at that, until the end of October for Hollywood Studios and or Epcot. For Magic Kingdom, we're just not going to see them at all. If Magic Kingdom closes at 5 o'clock, we're not going to get dark at all. So there will be no fireworks. Unless Disney changes its mind on park opening hours for special events, maybe like Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. 81% of people in a recent poll said they didn't want to visit an amusement park right now. So I guess that's another reason why only locals are going to Disney World and why people are cancelling holidays from in and around the US in Disney resorts, and that's why those tickets are being given out to annual pass holders. That was a very small selection of people, around 2,000, but it does at least give you an understanding of what's going on. A Disney ride vehicle sank on Splash Mountain this week. There were 5 people on board, no one was injured, they were evacuated. That vehicle was pretty much submerged underwater. Everything was okay yesterday when we were there. Splash Mountain was back up and running. There didn't seem to be any problems. That video will be coming soon as well. So looking at Disney's park availability calendar, for single ticket holders, only today Hollywood Studios was unavailable, everything else is green. For resort tickets, for resort guests, August grey, everything green. For September, over the weekend of the 5th and 6th Labor Day weekend, only Hollywood Studios is unavailable. Everything else is green right until September the 26th, 2021. Different story again for annual pass holders. It's sold out now until the 24th of August, and then it's only Epcot that's available for the rest of August for annual pass holders. For September, all the weekends are busy, and Hollywood Studios seems to be the park everybody wants to go to. That week of the Labor Day as well, the long week is pretty packed as well. Some good stuff during the weekdays, but nothing at the weekends. Into October, things are starting to heat up a little bit there. The weekends are starting to fill up, and Hollywood Studios is not available for 4 days in October already. After that, everything's green up until 26th September 2021. Okay, they are the headlines. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, press all. You'll get this stuff hopefully 3 times a week and other stuff in between times. If you like the video, please do give it a like. The algorithm likes the likes, and if you want to share it with people, please do. The algorithm likes that as well. We were at Magic Kingdom yesterday for the first time since COVID. Brilliant, it was brilliant. There will be a video coming this week. I was excited to be there. Enjoyed it, really impressed by what was going on there, so watch out for that video coming later. Also starting to do some videos now for the Door Global Team Realty channel, starting to get that moving as well now, so watch out for a couple of videos coming there. If you want to subscribe to that, please do so. I'll leave a link at the bottom of this video. Okay, let's get to the news. New cases in the US have been in the 40s and 50,000 since Monday, with 54,199 new cases yesterday. The peak was on July the 24th and has been trending down since. Reported deaths in all 50 states were above 1,200 Tuesday through Friday this week, but were 976 yesterday. This is trending down. In Florida, the number of cases recorded in recent days has been affected by Tropical Storm Isaias. 8,502 cases were recorded yesterday in Florida. That broke a 5-day run under 8,000. However, the figure from yesterday is probably more representative of what's really going on. The number of deaths in Florida peaked on July the 21st. 182 deaths were recorded yesterday in Florida, and the trend is currently downwards. With our 8,502 cases yesterday, Florida ranked number 1 above California and Texas. Looking at the stats, and despite Tropical Storm Isaias, 521,282 tests were carried out last week. That's the most ever recorded. In terms of a trend, we should really ignore the number of positive cases that have come about in the past few days. A lot less testing was done between the 2nd and the 6th of August, except for on the 5th of August. And that will undoubtedly mean lower number of positive cases. Hospitalisation numbers are getting very difficult to come by, but I am putting them in when I can get them. The number of deaths peaked last week at 1,226, and we're probably going to be fairly close to that this week again, but things seem to be getting better. The total number of ICU beds available across the whole of Florida this morning is for adults 1,157 and for kids 243, for a total of 1,400. That's about 70 more than we had on Monday. The effective reproduction rate in Florida was 1 on Monday. That's now dropped down again to 0.99. Florida now ranks 20 on the R-rate chart, down from 17 on Monday. The good news is that there are now 22 states with an R-rate under 1 from 20 on Monday. The weather in Orlando today, it's going to be 91 degrees Fahrenheit, 33 degrees centigrade, and it's going to be like that for the next 10 days. Scattered thunderstorms are likely in the afternoons. On Thursday, Governor DeSantis lifted the executive order which mandated self-quarantine for travellers from New York, New Jersey and Connecticut. This was due to expire on September the 7th. Also on Thursday, the US State Department lifted its blanket advisory warning American citizens not to travel abroad. Prior to the pandemic, the US employed a 4-level ranking system, with the least risky countries ranked at level 1 and the most risky ranked at level 4. Some of the top destinations for American travellers before the pandemic, including Italy, Britain and France, currently have a level 3 warning. More than 50 countries have a level 4 advisory, including Mexico, India, the Bahamas and Russia. And the US State Department also recommends that American citizens reconsider travelling to countries with level 3 warnings. Virgin Atlantic filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in New York on Thursday. It is 49% owned by Delta, with Richard Branson's Virgin Group owning the remaining 51%. Chapter 15 doesn't mean that Virgin Atlantic is going bust. It allows foreign individuals or companies to file for bankruptcy protection in the US in cases where assets in more than one country are involved. Virgin Atlantic has not filed for administration in the UK. Instead, it's working to finalise a £1.2 billion or $1.57 billion private rescue package with creditors. In a poll carried out recently by Morning Consult, 81% of people living in America said they were uncomfortable in going to an amusement park. The red line is Republican voters, the blue line is Democratic voters, and the middle line, the green line, is all Americans. Although this poll was only taken over about 2,000 people, it would seem to be borne out by the cancellations happening in Disney World and the number of additional spots being given to annual pass holders who live locally. Disney's third quarter results were issued on Tuesday. Disney has lost $5 billion due to the pandemic, which includes a $2 billion loss in its parks, experiences and products segment. However, during the earnings call, Christine McCarthy, Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for Disney, said Disney would not open a park unless it made a net positive contribution. She said, "Right now, it's not as high as we had expected, but we're still in the net positive contribution level. And I'd also like to mention Shanghai has consistently been operating in that net positive contribution level as well." On that call on Tuesday, Bob Chapek, the CEO for Disney, confirmed that 50% of Walt Disney World's guests currently came from Florida, with the other 50% coming from out of state. He also said there had been a higher than expected level of cancellations due to COVID-19. But basically additional spots had been given over to annual pass holders so that they could fill the capacity. Disney World has published new park opening hours from September the 8th. Opening times for all parks remain the same, but closing times have been reduced by between 1 and 2 hours. If Disney were thinking of putting fireworks on in Epcot or Hollywood Studios, it would need to be dark. If it gets dark enough to have a fireworks show 20 minutes after sunset, then the earliest that we could have a fireworks show in Epcot or Hollywood Studios would be around Halloween. The earliest that the sun will go down in Orlando is between 5:27 and 5:28 p.m, and that's on December the 6th or December the 7th. Given that the Magic Kingdom now closes at 5 p.m. from September the 8th, we won't be having any fireworks show in Magic Kingdom. Earlier this week, one of the ride vehicles on Splash Mountain in Disney's Magic Kingdom became submerged. This happened toward the end of the ride at the riverboat scene. There were 5 passengers aboard this ride vehicle and all got out safely. Disney has not yet commented on the reasons for why the ride vehicle sank. Looking at Disney's park availability calendar for theme park tickets guests, and today Disney's Hollywood Studios is sold out. Apart from that, everything else is green through September 26th, 2021. For guests staying on site, all of August is green. Hollywood Studios is now not available to resort guests on the Labor Day weekend of the 5th and 6th of September. For annual pass holders, most of the remainder of August is completely full, with only Epcot available on the days marked in yellow. For annual pass holders in September, all weekends are now booked out for Hollywood Studios, with the remainder being variable. Weekends in October are now also filling up for annual pass holders, with Hollywood Studios not being available for those dates marked in yellow. So just to reiterate a couple of things then, Disney is not going to close any parks. My opinion, and I believe they will never close any parks from now on, unless something drastic happens and DeSantis says things must happen, that the parks are closed. Yeah, they are making a net contribution, so says Bob Chapek, and while parks are making a net contribution, they're going to stay open. The fact that they're closing a little bit earlier is because it's autumn, it's the fall. Kids are going back to school, there's much less demand. It happens every year. So there shouldn't be much focus put on that again this year, just because they're closing a bit early. Don't worry about it. Virgin applying for Chapter 15 bankruptcy, again, don't worry about that either. As I said, it's simply a statute that's available for businesses to rehash themselves in the event that assets are held in more than one country. So that's all that is. Don't worry about it. I know that there are flights being cancelled right, left and centre by Virgin, BA and other people from Europe. That's just because we don't know what's on the horizon for border control in the US. So they're doing, I guess, what they're supposed to do is not leave it to the last minute, and they're doing it a little bit early, which is good. Hopefully you'll get your refunds, and then you can book for 2021. And I would say book later rather than earlier. We don't know when a vaccine is going to be available. We don't know when the borders are going to be reopened. So I wouldn't book for January 2021 just on the off chance that you're going to get slammed again with another cancellation, and then you're going to have to rebook again and again and again. That's just stressful. Okay, that is the news for today. Again, apologies for it being very late and for me missing 6 days of the week. I try not to let that happen again. Okay, take care everybody. I'll see you soon. Until then, bye bye.